Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am super excited about this three-dimensional card that I made using some new items from Mama Elephant. So I first started with stamping out the images, and because I didn't know which critter I was going to use on this card, I decided to stamp them all out onto Neenah 110, and I used Amalgam ink from Gina K Designs. So I'm coloring with my Copic markers, and I left all the coloring in this video, although I'm only going to use the bear. But I thought that it would be nice to show which colors I initially thought of using for all these critters. Um, as you can see here, I started with the darkest color, then on to the mid-tone, and in the end I ended up with the lightest color. And I went over it until I was happy with the blending. For the rest of the coloring, I will be putting on some U-Sync, and I will be back after all the coloring is done. Now that the coloring is done, I could use the matching dies to die cut all the critters. And now I will continue with my card. So this is a piece of the display a card die, and you need 2 pieces to create the 3-dimensional card front. I decided that I didn't want any white frame being in the front nor in the back, so I took the same abandoned coral and I blended the frame in this color. I decided to mask off the part of this piece that will be folded to create a 3-dimensional part, because when you look on the left or on the right side of the card, you will only see white, and in the front you will see all the colors. So I'm just blending a really soft layer of this abandoned coral, and I will do exactly the same for the other piece. So now I have these 2 pieces, and I decided to blend some distress inks on the back as well. Therefore I'm using dried marigold and I'm just blending it on the edges, going lighter towards the middle and even ending in the white of the paper. I also cut out some extra pieces that are included in this die set. There is a tree trunk, there are some clouds or some leaves for the trees and stuff like that, so you can actually choose what you are using it for. This can be a cloud, but it can also be used as the whole tree crown. So all these pieces I am inking up with Tattered rose, and I'm just blending on the edges again, adding color onto it. And I'm just inking up a few items, not necessarily the ones that I'm going to use, but I wanted to keep every option open. So for the tree trunk I decided to add a little bit of brown because it was too orangey for me, and there wasn't much of a difference between the other elements, so just added a bit of brown. And now I'm going to create this card. So I decided to crease the elements a bit more than already the ones that are created by the dies. I'm just making it easier for myself to bend everything. And I must admit that the assembly of the card wasn't as efficient as possible, but it was the first time that I was experimenting with this die. So there are much more efficient ways than mine, but it worked out, and that is the most important of all. So I'm just creasing, and now I am making sure that I fold it in the right way, and I'm using my bone folder to crease it even more. Like this. And when assembling, it was really important for me that I kept the white at the back of my two frames, so that one frame is laid inside of the creasing part of the other layer. I don't know if it's really that clear what I'm meaning, but as you can see here, there is no white on the back because I just tuck it in, and that was really what I was going for. So now I have some score tape, and I'm going to adhere everything onto my card base. And now this piece is going on the back of the card base. And I almost forgot that I should better do that first, but I quickly reminded myself of that and added some score tape on the back of this frame first before adhering it to the rest. Now that frame is done, and I can start adhering all the elements of this card. In this die there is also this hill, and you just need to bend over those tabs so that you can adhere it onto the frame. But as you can see here, it was really bulky, so I decided to make it a bit shorter by creasing it a bit further than what it was meant to. So I'm just bending it a bit further, creating a smaller hill than before, and this way it was much better for the card. So adding some tattered throws as well. I mean adding some dried marigold on top of this hill so that it matched with the background. For the sentiment, I decided to use the 3D arch banner, and I first added, of course, some distress ink Tattered rose to match with all the background elements, the tree, the clouds. And then I am adding a little sentiment, being so proud of you, with the same Gina design amalgam ink as I stamped out the images. So I try to bend the sentiment a little bit, following the arch. Therefore I used my the plastic of my stamping tool, and I just checked whether it was greased enough, so it was really trial and error, but it worked out in the end. A small crease was added, a small bend was added to the sentiment, and then stamped out.